Good evening, I'm Steve Jane, I'm Head of the Central Clinical School, and this is the Central Clinical School Honours Evening. So in the next half hour, 3/4 of an hour, you're going to hear from the departments that are the constituents of the Central Clinical School to give you a pretty compelling case why you should certainly consider the Paran precinct and the Central Clinical School as your honours destination. So I think we offer a number of advantages to Clayton, and obviously that's one thing we're trying to highlight to you because a lot of you are based out there and the move over here is something that you may not have thought a lot about. But we believe that there are compelling reasons to come here, some of them academic, some of them lifestyle, and hopefully we'll demonstrate those to you over the course of the next half hour or so. So I think the motto for the school is that we are really a school that is trying to establish a national and international reputation in translational research. And that is the concept of your research translates into some outcome for a patient in the shortest possible time. And the heads of most of the departments that you'll be speaking to are leading experts in translational research, in cardiology, in infectious diseases, in haematology, in endocrine, neurology, trauma, surgery, a raft of clinical disciplines. So if you really want to work in an area where your research is going to matter and potentially matter in a relatively short time frame, I think this is the destination you should certainly consider strongly. Obviously the interface with the hospital is the key driver of that, and as you know the Clayton campus sits many miles away from the nearest patient. Whereas our patient material literally is on our doorstep and we avail ourselves of that opportunity in many circumstances. Certainly, personally speaking from the haematology aspect, but you'll hear examples from all the other disciplines, that much of our research centres on the access to patient samples and the ability to translate our findings in the basic sciences straight into clinical samples that have relevance for patient care. And that is an experience you will only get on the AMREP precinct site at an international level. There is no question it's the premier clinical school of Monash University, and I think we offer much in the way of all these disciplines as far as translational research goes. So we like to think of it as from the mouse to the bedside, and obviously this is the archetypal doctor that works at the Alfred Hospital House. We're all just like him, brilliant diagnosticians, and obviously interested in how our work can impact on our patient care. And the departments that you have the opportunity to join, and so there are a range of disciplines that are available to you. Many will have ideas that you might want to work in cancer, you might want to work in infectious diseases, heart disease, and these are the sorts of choices that you have available to you at the Central Clinical School. So departments of haematology and immunology, gastroenterology, infectious diseases, surgery, pathology, endocrinology, trauma, neurology, anaesthetics, allergy, and then our affiliates who have their students enrolled through the Central Clinical School but partake of their scientific programs in their own discrete areas, which include Baker IDI, one of the leading areas in cardiovascular research, and the Burnett Institute, which is obviously one of the international leaders in infectious diseases research, global health. So you'll have the opportunity of interfacing with leading clinician scientists and basic scientists from all of those institutes with interest in translational research, proximity to clinical services and samples, and obviously from our viewpoint the flow-on effect of going on to do higher degree research is really what many of us are interested in. We love you coming to do honours, but we love it even more if you decide that you're going to translate that honours into a higher degree research and do a PhD with us. And many of the programs that you'll be talking to tonight will be saying to you, yes, this is an entree into a longer term project in the lab that you can go on and do a PhD with us. So this is the Central Clinical School in the middle of Paran, and the affiliate institutes I talked about. Here's the Baker and here's the Burnett and the hospital. So you can see it's a really tidy little precinct, and that has enormous advantages, as I mentioned, one of those being in patient contact, but also in the facilities that are available. We have really state-of-the-art imaging facilities now, flow cytometry, animal facilities, so all the platforms that you're going to need to be able to do your research are available to you. And if there's a technique within the lab that you're working in that you don't have expertise in and that your supervisor may not have expertise in, it's not very difficult to find somebody who does on the precinct. So it's a very cohesive precinct, something with enormously wide breadth of skill base, and you'll be able to achieve your goals in terms of your honours and ongoing projects without too much difficulty. So lifestyle is another area, a key card that we play to try and bring you to Paran. And these are the sort of confines that you'll be faced with. Paran Market, the fashion stores and restaurants of Chapel Street, Albert Park Lake. Really it's a beautiful precinct, and the city obviously very close. Many things are at your fingertips working on the AMREP site. And I always like to highlight and contrast that with what you have at Monash. And these are the sorts of highlights that you have at the Clayton campus, the magnificent Dandenong Road, the factories and the back streets of Clayton. So I think in addition, and can I say if any of this leaks back to Clayton, I will personally find you and there'll be trouble. So I think we offer, as well as international research excellence, the concept of interfacing with patients, which you won't get elsewhere, and an absolutely superb precinct in the midst of Melbourne with everything around you. And they're all pretty compelling arguments, I think, to really give AMREP your strongest consideration to come and do your honours. And so as we talk about in the translational world, it's from mouse to house. This is really from the bench to the bedside in the shortest possible time. So what we're going to do now is have an opportunity to put a face to some of the names of the clinical leaders and basic science leaders in the programs that are offered on the campus. I'm going to start off, it's my privilege as the head of school to start off with the Department of Medicine, and we have a range of different areas of research. One of our major areas is in dermatology and skin cancer, and this is one of our mouse models that you can see develops a very aggressive form of skin cancer, squamous cell carcinoma, and we're working on this as a paradigm to understand the molecular mechanisms that underpin human squamous cell carcinoma. We also have programs in developmental biology, and again these are some more of our mice. These are mice that are born with spina bifida, which is an equivalent to a human condition where the neural tube fails to close. And again, this is a very faithful model to reproduce the human disease, allowing us to understand the effects of drugs and molecules on the closure of the neural tube and to understand the molecular mechanisms that underpin this very devastating defect in humans. So you can see that the gap here from an animal model into a human scenario is very close, and that really is a hallmark of pretty much everybody you're going to hear about tonight. We also offer programs in hormones and vasculature, molecular endocrinology, diabetes, neuroscience, oncology and pathology. So again, a broad range of disciplines within the Department of Medicine, and you're certainly welcome to come and see us tonight. We're in the room down the back. We've got an excellent lollies collection, although I have to say not as good as immunology again. But by all means come and speak to some of the postdocs and students from medicine and ask them about the projects. I'm the designated contact person, so I anticipate tomorrow morning my email box will be absolutely flooded with requests to either come and tour the labs or come and speak to me or to speak to other members of the staff. You're more than welcome to do that, and I welcome everybody to speak or write to me, and I'm happy to reply and answer what questions I can for you.